Hi friends, it's Diana here today, and today I'm working on another free sew along tutorial. This is for the free Noelle pattern by Mood Fabrics. It is a cowl neck poncho slash dress. So there's two options. There's a poncho option and a dress option. I'm going with the poncho option today. It's super cute, super perfect for this time of year. They also, in that same pattern, there is a beanie pattern in there. I'm not going to be doing the beanie, but it's super cute and super easy if you wanted to sew that up as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started, and let's do it. Okay friends, so one of the main questions I get asked is how do I download these free patterns? So I have added this link to the information box below, but all you really have to do is type in the Noelle sweater pattern by Mood Fabrics on your search engine, and this will probably be one of the first things that comes up. So once it comes up, it looks like this, and here is the two different options plus the little beanie that they have on there, and it gives you a little information about it. It gives you a better picture of it. This poncho is the version I'm going to be sewing up today. It also tells you what materials were used for these, and it shows you a line drawing of the actual pattern. Then down here, it shows you the measurements, where you fit in. So you want to measure yourself and see where you fit at that measuring chart, and it gives you a approximate finished garment. If you keep scrolling, it gives you all the instructions on how to sew it up. But before we get there, right here, this little box is where you're going to claim your free pattern. You're going to put in your name and your email. You will have to subscribe to download. So you put your name, your email, and you hit that, and then that will send an email to you, and that's how you can get this pattern. So here's what that looks like. This is my email that I got from them. Thank you for downloading our free mood pattern. And here is the link. Now, what I like to do, instead of just hitting that link, you could click that link, and what it does is it's going to download it to your browser. So you'll print it straight from your browser, but I like to print and save on PDF format. So I hit my control option. Or you could, like, I think on a regular PC, you can right click, and you're just going to over here come down to download a linked file. Once you hit that download link file right here, you go up to the top where there's a little arrow that faces down. When you hit that, it'll give you, once you download it, it'll give you an option to open it up. And then when you hit it to open it up, then it will come up on your PDF. So now I've had it downloaded to my PDF file, and right here it shows you what the pattern pieces are, and it also tells you exactly how to print. I'm just printing from home. I've already printed. If you can see right here, I've got my pattern printed already. What I did is, because I'm not making the dress version, I went ahead and did not print the dress option or the hat, because I do not need the hat. I do need the neck and the actual garment and the cuffs. So that's what I printed. I just printed those options. Then there's a size chart again here, and you can scan the QR code. Oops, sorry, too fast. For the instructions and such, but it really are on the other on the website. So, and then it shows you how to cut the fabric if you need to, and then it shows you the line drawing of what the different sizes are. So now I'm going to go ahead and piece my pattern together and cut it up and get it sewn up. Now, you do have to print this first page right here, because on this first page, you've got this little square right here, and it measures 2 inches. So what you do is, once you print it, you're going to measure that square and make sure that it's exactly 2 inches on both sides, that 2-inch square, and that will tell you that you printed correctly. And now we can go ahead and piece this pattern together, because mine measures 2 inches exactly. Okay, you can overlap the pattern, but I feel like that's so hard to do, to overlap, because I can't really tell if I got it correctly. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and trim a little bit. All right, so what I'm trimming is literally so little. It's the edge that passes past your pattern right there. Just that edge, and then up the top, it's just like, see where the lines stop? I'm just trimming that top. It's not needed. I just find it that it's easier for me to be able to see how to line them up if I can just butt them up to the line, instead of having to, like, If you have something that like you can see the back of the paper when you line them up together, then that might work for you. Like a glass table or shining a light or something like that might work. Find it quicker to just trim these edges and overlap them. Because this pattern was printed in black and white and it's hard to tell which one's your size, I like to go ahead and figure out my size, which is an 8, and then I'm going to go trace my line all around the whole pattern with the highlighter, so that way I know exactly where I'm going to cut and I don't accidentally cut a different line. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm the 6th line. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. I'm going to make sure it looks like the line I'm looking for, and then I'm just going to highlight it. Time to cut my fabric, and I'm placing my pattern right over my fabric. Here's where it says the fold, so that's where my fabric is folded, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut around the outer edges. I am using my electric scissors, and you can find this link on my information box below. There's a little notch here that says stop sewing fabric here, so when I was cutting my fabric I went out, so that way I can have that notch for when I'm actually sewing my fabric. Let's notice here that it says seam allowance is a 3/8. It's a 3/8 seam allowance, so it's included already unless it's stated. Alright, so literally y'all, that was the hardest part of this whole sew, because this is super easy to sew. This is such an easy pattern. What you're going to do now is you're going to place your poncho right side up on your mat, and unfortunately my mat is not big enough for me to show you the whole thing, so I'm just gonna show you. This is one side, one shoulder side, and then here's my side seam of my bodice. So I'm gonna start over here at the top, and I'm gonna place both right sides together right here at the top, like the shoulder area. Now if you are using, I'm using a knit fabric, so you will use a stretch stitch on this. And just be sure to like do a good stretch stitch. Sometimes with knit fabrics it's harder to do. On here you can sew the raw edges first, because we're going to over here at the end sew those hems open. So we're just gonna basically, you could hem what do you call it? Serge all the way, the raw edge all the way down on your poncho, all the way around the whole bottom part. So I'm gonna sew this up, and then I'm gonna serge the raw edge of my poncho. That way I'm gonna sew this together on a sewing machine, stop at the notch, and then fold open the seam allowance and use that to hem my poncho all the way around. Now some fabrics you don't need to sew the raw edge, because being knit they might not fray, but I know that this one sheds a little bit, so if I don't sew that raw edge it'll start shredding on me. So if you're using a knit that won't do that, then you can just sew a straight a stretch stitch all the way down to that notch, not a serger stitch, because what you're going to do is you're going to open up the seam allowance like so, and then continue top stitching down the rest of the way to hem that opening. Now if you're not hemming, then you can just go ahead and top stitch, back stitch here and leave it raw if you wanted to leave it raw, but since I'm hemming I need to fold it over and top stitch it, so I'm just gonna sew that. So we're gonna start here sewing the shoulders right sides together. I'm gonna use my serger for that, and then I'm going to use a serger and finish off my raw edges. If you don't have a serger, you can definitely use a sewing machine on a zigzag stitch or something like that. I'm putting this mark here because I know when I go and serge it, it's gonna eat that notch, so I'm gonna have to put that pin there so I know exactly where to stop. Or you can just look at your pattern piece afterwards. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side as well. Now I'm also going to go ahead and prep everything else. Here is my cowl, my neckband. I'm gonna fold it right sides together on that raw edge, that long raw edge. That's going to then become my cowl. And then the cuffs, I'm gonna do the same thing too. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and sew those raw edges of my cuffs as well, right sides together. Now we sew our sides. And again, we're just going to place them right sides together. And we're going to start, I probably should have done the same color thread for the finishing the raw edge, but it doesn't really matter, it's fine. We're going to stop right here. So we're going to sew those sides, right sides together, and stop at that point, because then after that I'm going to be hemming. And I guess I missed my fabric here too. I could go ahead and finish that raw edge. I'm gonna clip this and finish that raw edge as well while I'm over there. This is what happens when I'm sewing with you all, because I'm gonna do the same on the other side. Because I don't pay enough attention. I'm kind of making sure that I need to be more careful. I get distracted talking and all that stuff and going, and then I don't think about those little details. Okay, so I'm gonna sew a straight stitch stopping here, and then we're gonna come back and open this up, steam it open, and hem all the way down and attach our cuffs and our neckband, and that's it. This is such a quick, fast sew, great for presents. All right, so now we can go ahead and attach our neckband and our armbands. My armbands and my neckbands are gonna get folded wrong sides together, match up that seam, and then I'm gonna mark my quarters. My front and back, and then my sides. Then I'm gonna mark my quarters of my neckline as well, match those shoulders, go to the front and back, and then match the front and back, and go to the sides. Your shoulders are not usually your quarter points, so you need to make sure that you find those quarter points instead of just going by your shoulders. I think I'm gonna fit in this neckband in there and match up the points, and then sew them right sides together. And then I'm gonna do the same for my cuffs here. Right sides together. I mean, wrong sides together, the cuffs. Okay, now the last step will be to hem our bottom. So here's my ironing board, and what I'm going to do is, you can go ahead and sew those things first, but you all know I like to do everything at the same time. So I'm gonna open that seam allowance that I sewed together right here, the sleeve. I'm gonna open that up and steam. Be careful with your fabric, because my fabric is really sensitive, so I have to be very careful. And then you're going to fold up one side going one way, and then the other side goes the other way. I guess I could put them up like this so you can see both sides. Right here is where the opening is, and so we go from one side, hem it that way, and then the other side hem it this way, and we're just gonna hem all the way down. So we're gonna continue to hem all the way down, and here when we get to the peak, we'll be coming this way, and then right there, we'll have to fold the other side over on top like this to create that peak. And we're gonna hem all the way. I actually might not steam it very much because I'm so scared I'm gonna burn my fabric. I really, when I sew patterns, free patterns, sometimes I don't really realize, I don't really know what the instructions say. So this is not how they hemmed and did the side seam, but I find that this is the much easier way to do that hemming and side seam like that, so that it can split open and it will look good. But I couldn't understand really what they were trying to do, so I'm not sure if we're doing exactly the same way, but this works really great. So let's go serge those things on and then hem the bottom of our poncho, and we're done. All right, I'm gonna start here at the peak so I can go all the way around. Here at the turn, I'm just gonna go kind of turn around here. Go straight, and then kind of turn my fabric over and keep going. I broke my thread because I pulled on it. Oops. This little mishap happens to all of us, so yep. I need to make sure it is working. It looks like it's going. Yep. Okay. You're not the only one who breaks the thread. Then I lift my needles up, pull my thread over a little bit, and then turn and keep going. Cross our fingers. Oh, that's not crossing. This is crossing. Cross our fingers that it won't break again. All right, friends, we are finished with this poncho sweater. This is super cute. I think I love how it turned out. I love the shape. I love the flare. I just think it turned out super cute, and it is so easy to sew. It's perfect for a holiday gift for friends and family. Also, because of the way that it fits, if you are not 100% sure on measurements, you can go by their sizing and still get it right. The only thing I would maybe change is making it a little bit longer for myself, which what I would do is I would go right here at that point where we started hemming and just cut the pattern right there and pull it down about 1 inch or 2 and then piece it together as I'm cutting the fabric. But other than that, I think it turned out super cute. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of our tutorials. The birds are really loud today, so that's good. And come find me on Instagram, where you see a lot of behind the scenes footage of my sews and such. And comment below and let me know if you're going to sew it up. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.